The first of those moves being trading defenseman Ella Shelton to the Toronto Septors in exchange for the third overall pick in the draft, as well as a fourth round selection too. Now, Ella Shelton has been one of, if not the best offensive defenseman in the PWHL since the league began. She finished first in scoring amongst defensemen during the league's inaugural season, and I believe she finished either top 3 or top 5 during this last season. I think she played less games due to injuries and things like that, so she wasn't quite as high as she was the season before, but she's still a premier offensive defenseman in the league, one of the only bright lights on a very struggling New York Sirens team. And as you can imagine, given all of this, Sirens fans were not happy to see Shelton depart the organisation and go to Toronto. A lot of them thinking, why did we do this? Is it because they wanted to select somebody in particular at third overall, who they could have gotten at first overall, given the fact they had the first pick in the draft? But yeah, this selection made a lot of fans very upset. However, they did make up for it somewhat. And they did so by using that recently acquired third overall draft pick to select from the University of Wisconsin forward Casey O'Brien. Now, a lot of analysts and journalists around the PWHL kind of considered O'Brien to be the number one pick of this draft. And the fact that the Sirens didn't pick her number one overall raised some eyebrows. So they kind of made up for trading away Ella Shelton by using this third overall pick to get Casey O'Brien. They did lose a top offensive defenseman to do so, but it kind of gives the impression to me that they're wanting to bring in a new wave of players to the Sirens to hopefully change the culture a little bit, change the locker room, and try not to be a bottom-dwelling team in the league once again. Casey O'Brien had a fantastic season just before the draft. She won a trophy. I can't remember exactly what the trophy is. I really didn't keep up with kind of outside of the PWHL this season, so I apologize if this isn't the most researched video. But yeah, Casey O'Brien was considered to be the number one pick. New York finally got her at third overall, so I can't remember who selected second overall yesterday, but clearly they passed on her too. And then the Sirens managed to pick her up. However, their night wasn't quite done there. Unfortunately for Sirens fans, there was one more huge blow to their hearts as later on that evening, the Sirens announced that they had traded forward Abby Rock to the Montreal Victoire in exchange for forward Kristen O'Neill and a fourth round pick in the draft. Abby Rock was considered kind of a firecracker for the Sirens. Once again, another player that was kind of a bright spot in a struggling organization. And she kind of wears her heart on her sleeve, is willing to get rough and physical and get in the dirty areas of the ice. Obviously, following the trade, there was a lot of sharing of the videos between Marie-Philip Poulin, the captain of the Victoire, and her kind of scuffles with Abby Rock. So it's going to be interesting to see the two of them play together.